Good morning. What a wonderful day this is. You walk out on a morning like this and the city feels the way it does, and then you walk into this place which for many of us, including me, has so much emotion attached to it. And you begin to feel the importance of the day. But then when I look out at you who are here, who've chosen to come, accidentally, my doctorate is in religion, but accidentally and coincidentally, I wanted to write on the Unitarians, and I needed to choose a prominent Unitarian because they didn't have theologians as such. So it was in 1965 that I chose to write on Charles Eliot. And since I had to read everything Eliot wrote, not only during his 40 years as president of Harvard, I got to learn a lot about his transformative role there. But he reduced it to a very simple formula in one of his letters to his son, who later became a university president at Washington University in St. Louis. And he said, the secret to a great university is to attract great faculty and great students and get them to work together on great things. And I look out at my colleagues here in the room, and I think of this concept that is designed to take the great men and women who are working about the future of our universe through the lens of cities and sustainability and just enable their work, enhance it by building greater connections, by periodically focusing on particular projects, by enabling more faculty research to be done, and by enabling more students to work under the faculty that I see assembled in front of me. So it is that we sacramentalize the day. We say, okay, this is, we are the talent here assembled in this, the capital of the world, and we sacramentalize this day by rededicating ourselves to that work and saying even more, and by saying to Don and to Katie, bless you. Bless you for making possible that we do more. Don and Katie are quintessential citizens of New York. Don is known for his work with MoMA and the Coalition for the Homeless as much as he's known as one of the great innovators in business and finance. Katie, of course, distinguished herself as chair of the library board, but just this week, it's been named that she's going to be the chair of one of our neighborhood jewels, the High Line, and we congratulate you on that. The gratitude of this university to Don, who has been with Ricky, playing with this idea of how we take the notion of the study of cities and make NYU the place for it, given the talent that we have. Don's been an active participant in this. He's an extraordinarily bright person, as anyone who knows him can tell you. You don't make casual statements with Don. You don't mention a thought without expecting it to be tested. I said to him when he told me that he was going to make this gift, that as important as it was that he was providing the financial wherewithal for us to do more as a faculty and as a university, it equally important was the ratification that he was providing to what we are and what we do. Don is not a graduate of NYU. Don does not have a family member at NYU. Don has chosen NYU on the merits, and he's chosen to do this project here on the merits. after doing the kind of due diligence for which he's famous. And that ratifying quality of this gift should not be forgotten. When you have an event like this to sacramentalize something, you have to bring the most important person imaginable to bless it. So it is that we dreamt, and our dream was fulfilled. The mayor of mayors, the mayor of the world, the son of an NYU graduate, and the daughter of an NYU, and and the father. Given the announcement in today's paper about the coverage of college health programs, I was about to make news. No. The father of what I'm happy to say now is an NYU graduate. For a few years, every time I saw the mayor at an event, he would say, "Graduate my daughter, graduate my daughter." There was never any doubt that she was going to graduate. She's one of our stars, but we're delighted that our mayor is the star of mayors and one of the great leaders of the world. It's appropriate that he leads the world's capital and is one of the great spokespersons on cities anywhere. Our friend, our mayor, Michael Bloomberg.
That was one of the shorter introductions that John has ever done. I one time told him that God created heaven and earth in 6 days. He could shorten his speeches given the impact that he has with them. I don't know whether he smiled sweetly and laughed, but whether he really believed it or not, I don't know. Anyways, good morning, everyone, and Don, congratulations on this wonderful gift to NYU. It is true my mother graduated from here in '29 and my youngest daughter about 5 years ago, but I never would have gotten in, for the record. I don't think I applied, but with my academic record where I always tried to make the top half of the class possible, that was not what NYU wanted. And, you know, NYU is another one of these schools where the undergraduate candidates to get in for an undergraduate degree, they always say, well, what did you do after school? What did you do in the summer? And invariably, every one of them cured cancer, wrote the great American novel, fed all the poor, and all of that sort of stuff. And I was one of those kids that went to work so that I could have some money to go to school. They're probably more successful than I am, but nevertheless, I've always had a soft spot in my heart for NYU. I did one time give the commencement speech here, and I pointed out that NYU, when my mother was 75, never called and said, wouldn't it be nice to give a gift to the university in honor of your mother? And when my mother was 80, they didn't call either, 85 either, 90 either. And 95, they had not called, but when I gave my commencement speech, I said, you know, you didn't ask, but I'm going to go and give you $10 or something, which I guess I did. Anyways, this is wonderful for the city, for NYU. I just wish Don would stop naming things after himself. It's actually kind of tacky if you think about it. But Don has been a lifelong New Yorker, and his wife, Katie, congratulations on the new job. I'm going to be unemployed in 321 days, so look around. Maybe there's another job that I could get. The two of you are two of the most generous, but also caring and thinking people about this city, and you've made the city a lot better off. The only annoying thing is your son towers over me, as does your husband, so I don't know. Maybe I will grow that tall eventually. I got to work at that. Who knows? But this institution does a lot to build a future for New York City. Don, you went to Bronx Science back in the 50s when he was a teenager. This city had a population of only about 10 million people. Today there are 23 cities that large. By the year 2025, they're projected to be 40 megacities of 10 million or more. And for the first time in history today, half of the people in the world live in cities. and by mid-century, it will be 750,000 of the world's population that will live in big cities. It is a remarkable and historic shift, and it presents real challenges to big cities, challenges to improve public health, to create housing, to preserve the environment, to provide the basic services and economic opportunities that draw people to cities in the first place, whether it's crime or pollution or transportation or whatever. We have to think about these things differently, and we have to plan now. All of these challenges are important to city dwellers, but addressing them widely has worldwide implications in all parts of our country, urban, rural, as well as suburban. We all breathe the same air. We all drink the same water. 70% of the world's greenhouse gas emissions come from urban areas, and so making cities more sustainable is crucial for life on this planet. I just came from a presentation at Bloomberg where we brought in people who collect data on public health issues. I've always said if you can't measure it, you can't fix it. And it's just fascinating if you look at life expectancy just in the United States, and we do a very big chunk of the data collection that we're talking about there is from around the world. But in the United States, the southeast part of the country, life expectancy is in the low 60 years, 61, 62 years. And in the northeast and parts of the northern part of the tier of the country, life expectancy is 78 something. So 20 years difference. If you look at education levels and crime rates and all that sort of thing, very similar kind of things. All of the problems go together. There's never anybody that's just homeless. They're homeless because they don't have a job, and they don't have a job because they don't have an education, and their health isn't very good because they don't know how to take care of themselves. All of these things go together, and we're going to have to do something about it. And I don't think there's any question that we have to keep building our cities if this country and if this world is going to have a future. We don't have to wait. We can do a lot of these things now. We are doing some things in New York. Life expectancy in New York is 3 years greater than it was 10 years ago. Our crime rate is so low, it's really hard to measure in the context of what other big cities in America are. We have the number of people that smoke has fallen dramatically. The response time for ambulance is better, so people are getting better medical care. We have fewest traffic deaths we've ever had since 1916 when we started keeping numbers, and there weren't automobiles. Fewer deaths by fire, all of those things. We are making some progress in New York, but we still have plenty of problems. There are plenty of people who are not getting a good education, and while we only had 419 murders on a base of 8.4 million people, that's 419 too many, and we have to keep focusing on that. There's a whole bunch of cities that share the same problems that we do. One of the things I've worked on is something called the C40, which for reasons beyond me has 64 members, but we still call it C40. It's like I think McDonald's solved that problem. Instead of the number of billions, they just say now billions and billions because it cost them $1 billion to change the signs every billion hamburgers they sold, and it didn't work out. NYU's Center for Urban Science and Progress in downtown Brooklyn is one of the 3 campuses that will grow out of the city's applied sciences competition. And CUSP, as it's called, is one of the major NYU research hubs the Marin Institute will bring together. And the core CUSP is analyzing the explosion of data that's taking place from world cities and sensors that read traffic patterns to knowing where people are from their GPS cell phone signals to postings on Facebook and Foursquare. There's just an enormous amount of information, and how we use that is going to be a great challenge. One of the great sins would be if we spend all the money to collect data and then not do anything with it. That's happening with crime across the country. Everybody's got a ComStat system. They think if you collect the data, it's the solution to all your problems. The real answer is it's using the data that's the solution to all your problems, but people don't want to do that. It's controversial, it's expensive, it impacts everybody differently. And the courage that we see across the country in using real data, unfortunately, is very minimal, and we've got to find ways to do something about that. And I think the Marin Center really is going to, the Marin Institute is really going to give people impetus to stand up. So a great day for NYU, great day for New York. Don, thank you for making it all possible. And I want to thank Richard Vezes, who helped develop the blueprint for this institute's work and who will lead it in the future, and John for being such a leader of this university. I always say I'm a fan of John's. You have to say that because he kisses you and he hugs you. I don't know where that comes from. God, while he has been the president of this university, it really has expanded to 5 continents. NYU today sends more students abroad than any other U.S. University, and in a global world, that really is important and bodes well for those kids' ability to share in the great American dream and to make a great contribution to our world. So thank you, all of you, and great to you coming here. The Marin Institute is going to take the work that all of you are doing one step further, and I'm off to do something else. I have no idea what. I haven't read the next page in the schedule, but thank you. And if I decide to get another undergraduate degree, will I have a chance of getting into the school? Yeah, right. Goodbye. Thank you, everyone.